National Day celebrations begin in Taipo. A world record-breaking exercise also to celebrate National Day. And a race is made following a fire in Wong Tai Sin. Good evening and thank you for joining us. With the National Day on October 1st just 10 days away, a series of celebratory events were held in Taipo. At 8 p.m., a 15-minute drone show will be staged over Lam Chun River in Taipo as well. Amid some afternoon drizzle, a boisterous start to the celebration with the sound of gongs and drums reverberating across the streets of Taipo. The parade featuring lion and qilin dances set out from Tin Hao Temple, Feng Shui Square in Taipo. A mini Vivian Kong lookalike, Hong Kong's Olympic gold-winning fencer. While the prevailing theme was the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, elements of Taipo's attractions were also incorporated into the parade. As part of Taipo District's celebration of National Day, the Pusic Parade is comprised of 75 teams from schools and local groups, with about 1,000 people participating. They portray themes of tradition, wishes, youth, sports, and nature. This participant said the red-colored festivities represented their patriotic spirit. From Tin Cow Road and Taiwan Road to the football field at Plover Cove Road, the parade lasted 40 minutes. Apart from locals, a group of people came from Sichuan to take part in the celebration. This man said even with the rain, the atmosphere was very good. The celebratory events also graced Lam Chun River with performances, floating markets, and night boat cruises. And it's not just on land and water. At 8 p.m., a 50-minute drone show will be staged in the sky over Lam Chun River, featuring popular mainland cartoon character Milk Dragon. Also, to celebrate National Day, the Labor Department and the Occupational Safety and Health Council held an event which set a new Guinness World Record for the largest resistance band demonstration or class. Some 750 people took part in the National Day celebration and 10,000-person stretching exercises at D Park in Chunwan. They include Secretary for Labor and Welfare Chris Sun. Guided by fitness instructors, participants performed a 30-minute resistance band stretching exercise together. The Labor chief said the event aims to promote occupational health and reduce the risk of injury at work. Sun also noted the world record marks a tribute to the country's achievements over the past 75 years. Kai Tak Sports Park, which is poised to open early next year, will play host to a host of mega sport and entertainment events. Addressing concerns about transport capacity, Chief Secretary Eric Chan says test runs will be undertaken to ensure effective crowd management. The 50,000-seat mega stadium will host 3 concerts of British rock band Coldplay in April next year. The organizers of the Rugby Sevens want to hold their tournament in Kai Tak in March next year as well. Chan said on a radio program the trials will help residents, transport operators and police become familiar with the new venue and its transport links. He noted no transport problems occurred at Causeway-based 40,000-seat Hong Kong Stadium, stressing efficiency was thanks to people and the police's familiarity with the stadium's layout. He added multiple overseas music and sports groups have made inquiries about the reservation procedures of Kai Tak Sports Park. The taxi driver offence points ordinance will take effect from Sunday. The government hopes the move will help improve the service standards of taxis. Min Musangai reports.
Under the Taxi Driver Offence Points Ordinance, a 3-tier system will be introduced to combat 11 illegal activities: overcharging, willfully refusing or ignoring to accept a hire, and altering a taximeter are among the most serious offences. Drivers who violate those offences can incur a 10-point penalty. Drivers will receive a 5-point penalty if they conduct more minor offences, such as taking passengers to destinations via indirect routes. 3 points will be incurred for offences including refusing to provide a receipt to passengers. Taxi drivers who accumulate 10 points or more within 2 years will be required to attend and complete a taxi service improvement course at their own cost. If drivers fail to follow the requirement, they will face a fine of $5,000 and 1 month in prison. Individuals will have their licenses revoked when they obtain 15 points or more. The first disqualification period will last for 3 months, while the subsequent disqualification will last 6 months. This woman said the new system can better regulate the behavior of taxi drivers. I hope residents will not overreact because this will impose pressure on drivers, she said. I think the system can help increase the overall taxi service in the city, this man said. Some taxi drivers are not concerned about the point system. You cannot think that much, just deal with it as it comes, this driver said. Writing on his blog, Secretary for Transport and Logistics Lam Sai-hong said the system aims to improve taxi service and encourage well-behaved drivers to continue their good work. News 9, TVB News.
After a fire in an apartment in Wong Tai Sin, police arrested a 52-year-old woman on suspicion of ill-treating or neglect of children. The affected unit is on the top floor of Lock Moon House. Walls charred owing to the heavy smoke. About 100 residents were evacuated. Police received a report from a woman at around noon saying the clothing of her 2 grandsons had caught fire, which spread across the apartment. Firefighters put out the blaze in an hour. The 2 children are safe. An initial investigation shows that the fire may have been caused by a short-circuited wire. Heavy rain pounded Japan's north-central region of Noto today, triggering flash flooding and landslides. The downpour engulfed homes and stranded some residents in the area still recovering from a deadly earthquake on January 1st. The Ishikawa prefecture said 1 person went missing in the worst-hit Wajima city, where the Japan Meteorological Agency issued the highest-level heavy rain warning. At least 12 rivers in the prefecture have breached their banks today. Many homes were flooded and some residents in 2 districts in Wajima have been stranded following a landslide. And still ahead of the United Nations General Assembly next week, a glimpse inside the UN Security Operations Center. Kidnapped New Zealand pilot is released after 1.5 years. Welcome back. Lebanon say the death toll from an Israeli airstrike on an apartment in Beirut has risen to 31 and includes 7 women and 3 children. The dead include Hezbollah commander Ibrahim Akil. David Garrett reports.
Akil was one of the most wanted men on the planet, with a $7 million reward on his head for the 1983 bombing of the US Embassy in Beirut and other terror attacks.
Today, there's a massive Lebanese army presence in a cordoned-off area where the killing took place. Lebanese medics stood by in the vain hope of finding survivors. They recovered more dead bodies from the rubble. The airstrike 24 hours earlier came after Hezbollah fired 140 missiles at Israel. That was in revenge for pagers and walkie-talkies used by Hezbollah that exploded in previous days, killing dozens and injuring thousands. Lebanon is on edge, with people fearing more attacks. Samar al-Masri owns a phone shop. This week's exploding devices are affecting business, with people afraid to handle phones. She says customers feel like phones are being monitored, with mobiles from abroad particularly concerning. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights says he is appalled by the scale and breadth of Israeli attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon this week.
International humanitarian law prohibits the use of booby trap devices in the form of apparently harmless portable objects which are specifically designed and constructed to contain explosive material. It is a war crime.
Iran, which supports Hezbollah, held an army parade showing off military hardware, including missiles and drones. Troops filed past President Masoud Pezeshkian, shouting anti-Israeli and anti-American slogans. Pezeshkian told troops the usurper Israel will not be able to commit its current crimes in the region if we are united and hold hands. David Garrett, TVB News.
In New York, more than 140 world leaders are set to gather for next week's United Nations General Assembly. Security is an important concern. Deep below UN headquarters in Manhattan, those responsible for maintaining safety are preparing for what they call a national special security event. Daniel Rao tells us more.
The annual gathering brings together hundreds of top diplomats from across the globe to New York City for the general debate inside the United Nations and dozens of meetings in the Big Apple. Staff from the UN headquarters Brain Center allowed the press inside to take a look at the room, which boasts more than 1,000 live security camera feeds, door alarms and emergency alerts.
Welcome to our Security Operations Center. We call this the Brain Center. This is where we receive information, we analyze the information, and then we disseminate the information to everyone. Sometimes we screen during the high-level period up to 22,000 delegate staff and non-UN entities per day. 22,000, that is a high number. Then cameras, which we'll go into a little bit of detail more. We have over 1,400 cameras that we monitor daily.
I mean, we can't monitor all 1,400 at the same time. We rely on our officers outside also to call us if they see something, and then we'll zoom in on the camera on the situation and then report to our supervisor. So this picks up the heat signatures. We also have motion alarms. So if somebody comes through, they'll trip the motion, we'll get the alarms, and these are some of the alarms you're hearing right now.
By bringing together more than 10 representatives from different agencies, we ensure unified and strategic approach that enables us to handle any possible situation that may arise.
Securing the UN General Assembly is a tall task in most years. This year it's happening in the heat of a US presidential election, which is requiring Secret Service protection for multiple candidates, in addition to the current president, Joe Biden. The dignitaries are meeting for the first time since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7, 2023, an event that triggered a protracted Israeli offensive in Gaza that has killed tens of thousands of people. The conflict has generated support and derision for both sides and led to protests on college campuses and city streets in the US and beyond. Dan Rowell, TV News.
A New Zealand pilot who was kidnapped and held hostage in Papua for 19 months has been freed by rebels. Philip Martin says he is very happy to be going home to his family. The 38-year-old who was held captive for 592 days sat chatting with police after his release. He had a beard and looked thin, but said he was in a healthy condition. Martins from Christchurch was taken hostage by separatists when the plane he was flying belonging to Indonesia's Susi Air landed in the mountainous area of Enugu. Months of intense negotiations secured his safe release.
I have to say it's an enormous relief, and his family will be absolutely over the moon, I believe. And also we want to thank the media for unusually not saying a thing on the critical months and months and months of work, so that we in the end have been successful.
Russia has a long military history, and even today, it is a country where citizens are allowed to own guns. Many shooting ranges have been set up for residents and tourists in Russia to use during their leisure time. Mimosa Guy reports.
In Russia, it is common for people to spend time at shooting ranges. This is an indoor shooting range in St. Petersburg, which has 3 floors, covering a size of 5,000 square feet. The owner of the center said customers can use different types of guns depending on the floor they go. For instance, customers can use rifles, sniper rifles, and submachine guns on the first floor, while the second floor has handguns. The shooting center only permits people who are 18 years old or above to use the facilities. Individuals need to present their passports for registration. This woman said she has wanted to hold weapons since she was a child. She said it could be a genetic thing inherited from their ancestors who had fought many wars. The site also attracts overseas visitors. Mr. Guan came from China. He wanted to experience using Russian-made firearms, which is a rare opportunity. According to the gun control in Russia, individuals must be 18 years old or above to obtain a firearms license. They must also fulfill a series of criteria, such as completing a course on the safe handling of weapons and passing medical and background checks. News 9, TVB News.
Today is World Alzheimer's Day, and a chance to reflect on and raise awareness of this degenerative neurological disease. It's estimated someone in the world develops Alzheimer's every 3 seconds. Adel Richard, professor of neurology at Radboud University Medical Center in the Netherlands, describes Alzheimer's as a cruel and devastating disease because of the way it impacts mood, memory, and personality.
If you have had a heart attack and afterwards you're physically disabled because after 100 meters walking you're short of breath, that's a big disability, but you're still the same person. And losing the essence of what we are as human beings is one of the most feared things of people, and understandably, because this is how we thrive, we communicate, we think, this is how we are.
New medical advancements are offering solutions to treat Alzheimer's. The drug lecanemab was authorized for use in the UK. In trials, the drug was shown to slow cognitive decline by about a quarter in patients with early stages of Alzheimer's. It works by clearing the amyloid protein in the brain. However, the body which recommends medicines for Britain's National Health Service said the benefits of lecanemab were too small to justify the costs. Experts say lifestyle changes are a significant area where individuals can reduce their chances of developing Alzheimer's. And that's the news. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.